Hey guys, what's going on? This is Derek. Welcome to episode 21 of my 30-day Facebook Live challenge, and I can feel it coming to an end. 21 already. It's gone so fast. So we're going to have to figure out, what the regular schedule is going to be after I hit 30, because I think this has kind of been a fun thing to do. So anyway, for tonight, what I want to talk about is a couple things, actually. I want to dive a little bit deeper into finding ideas when you get stuck. Make sure I want to say your name right. Revar, I posted, I said, I'm going live. Does anybody have any questions? And she asked, how to get ideas when you get stuck. Thanks for asking that question, Revar. So I'm going to touch base on that a little bit again. I know I did that a couple nights ago, but I'm going to go a little bit deeper into that, as well as talk about print samples for your next print projects. So first, for those of you that might notice that I'm a little bit blush and looking fantastic tonight, I mowed the lawn for the first time of the year. I can't believe it. I can't believe we were shoveling snow literally last week. So spent all day going out in the shed and get stuff set up, doing the switch from winter to spring. Didn't wear any sunscreen, and now I feel like a blistered strawberry, but whatever. And I digress. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So what I want to talk about is print samples. So you may or may not know, some of you who are in your earlier in your design career might not be aware, but you can order all kinds of free print samples from different printers, which will really help you out when it comes time to show a client some different paper stocks. And this also kind of leads into getting ideas when you get stuck. So let me just kind of dive right in. So I've got a whole stack of print samples that I've ordered, and I've ordered them for free. And I'll paste some links in the description to kind of show you where you can do that. But basically, reach out to any printer, and almost all of them will have a sample pack that you can order. And that way you can get in your hands an actual sample of what each type of paper feels like. So I can see, what their glossy stock feels like. I can see what, their matte finish. So this is an 80-pound cover matte finish. So sometimes it's nice to know, well, what does that feel like in my hand, right? And I can go through all of their different samples that they printed, different postcards, brochures, flyers, what is this, piece of letterhead, and I can feel it in my hand, which makes all the difference in the world knowing, does this feel like it's cheap, or does it feel really expensive and nice, depending on the type of brand you're working with, right? So this makes a huge difference when it comes time to actually order that paper. So I know when I first started out, I knew nothing about paper, and even now I venture to say that I don't know nearly as much as I should, but I have a much better understanding because I've got print samples and I've got swatch books that basically show you all the different types of paper there are. There's actually a surprising amount of paper, and when it comes time to design your project, sometimes it doesn't take a lot of design at all. Sometimes it might be as simple as this, where we have a logo at the top and almost nothing else. That opened not the way I expected to. Almost nothing else on this piece of paper, and I know you can't really see it from the camera, but the point is in my hand it feels really good and really luxurious. So your paper and the medium you're using for your artwork can go a long way as part of the design element. So it's really important to take the time to find the right paper. So this company is called Moo, M-O-O. If you go to moo.com, you can actually order a print sample from them. And some of these companies will ship it to you for free. They'll give you the whole thing for free. Others will make you pay for shipping. So, anywhere from $5 to $10. It just really depends on, where they're shipping from and where you live. But it's definitely worth getting these in your hand. Moo is really, really popular printer right now, and they can do a lot of really cool things. They can do, I think they call it Printfinity, where each business card, let's say you order 50 business cards, each one can have a different back. So this is awesome if you're a photographer or maybe you're a graphic designer wanting to show off all your different portfolio pieces. You can have each card have a different color or a different quote or different maybe Instagram image or whatever you want to do on the back of each card, so they're unique. And then I've had some people, when they gave me their card, and I know they printed them from Moo, and they kind of fan them out, kind of like a deck of cards, right? And you can pick which one you think is the coolest. So just kind of a fun little pro tip, I guess you could say. So that's huge. So this is Moo, and they sent out stickers and stuff like that. Let's see, Sticker Mule. I think I've mentioned them before. You can get samples from them as well. They can do what's called like a pro cut sticker. or a die cut sticker where basically it's cut out and follows the shape of the logo. Or you could do just a simple like rounded corner sticker like we did here for the Dracos logo. Got a bigger version too. Let's see if that picks it up. Yay, there it is. Okay, cool. So Sticker Mule is an awesome company too, and they will send you samples. In fact, so I ordered stickers for that subscription site that I had going for rapidworkflow.net, which I'll be resurrecting shortly. Huge side note. And I got these stickers from Sticker Mule. And when I did, I don't have them in here. Anyway, they sent a bunch of samples as well. So this is how they shipped them to me. Sent 50 stickers, actually not that expensive at all, but another great vendor that I love to use. Let's see what else we got here. So PFL, okay, so Printing for Less. They're actually based out of Livingston, Montana, which is about 5 hours away from where I live. So I love that they're local, but their facility is like the size of a Walmart. I mean, they're huge. They're a global printer. So it's really cool that they're local, but they also sent all kinds of samples, like plastic business cards. So this is their 30 mil clear plastic card. So you can see what that feels like and what the cost is for that. They've got all kinds of stock samples. So it's a little bound notebook, essentially, that's got all kinds. Basically, it's just every kind of paper stock they have, along with different finishings. So you can do different effects like emboss or deboss. So an emboss is when the paper feels raised from the surface, or deboss when it feels like indented. You can do a metallic finish or foil over it, so it's all shiny and glossy and stuff. Pretty cool. And these are all things where when it comes time to do a project, I usually start with the end in mind. So if I know I'm going to do a business card or a postcard or even packaging, whatever I'm going to do, I almost always figure out who's going to print it before I do anything else, because depending on the printer, they might have different availability or different techniques available, different paper stocks available, and they're all going to have drastically different prices. So one printer might charge a ton for a metallic foil, and another one might be their specialty, so they do it so much that they can do it for less. So it's worth asking them, what's your specialty? Do you have any special finishes you'd recommend? They can even do things like on the Moo cards, they do an ultra thick card, and they can do, it's basically like 3 pieces of paper glued together. So like a white, maybe like a red ribbon in the middle. So it's got kind of a red on the outside. They can also paint the sides of the card. So maybe it's green or yellow or gold or red, whatever you want to do. They can make the sides of the cards a color, which is super cool. So this is really helpful when it comes time to design whatever you're doing, is to have all of these samples in hand. They also send you, so all of these are just different business cards with basically each each paperweight and each finish that they have available. And then when I open this up, they've got some sample brochures that they've done or that people have printed on certain papers. This is an 8 mil Smart Flex, so there's no coating. It's really, really not rigid. What's the word? I got to stop doing these late at night. I lose all my words. Sorry, guys. But anyway, just really valuable to see what other people are doing, to see what's possible, to see what the printers can do. So what I'm going to do is jump online here real quick and show you guys where you can order these for free or for very cheap. Let's see. Let me get all this stuff out of the way. There's more. There's a whole bunch more, but those are the ones that stand out to me. So I'm going to jump over into my browser. Give me a second to pull this up. So printingforless.com. Let's see. Samples. Okay, so you can get a personalized sample kit. If I go down to the footer of their website, down here in the bottom right, it says get free samples. So I can click on that. And this is how a lot of them work. You can either call in and get it, request it, or you can, usually they've got a form, fill out the form below. Okay, so you can fill out the form below. If you don't have a company name, you can just use your own name. Like, for example, when I first started, it was just Derek Mitchell Design. So I could put Derek Mitchell Design, I could put my name in here, email, phone number, and then say, send me the samples. So it doesn't look like these, I don't know, it doesn't look like these cost anything. This is free from Printing for Less, or at least maybe make to pay for shipping once you get into the checkout. Not for sure. Anyway, hey, if you do reach out to Printing for Less, tell Patrick that Derek sent you. Derek says hello. So Patrick is the guy that I work with predominantly at Printing for Less. Great guy. So there is that. All right. So the next one is Moo. So we're going to go to Moo Print Samples. So I just Googled Moo Print Samples and then clicked on the first couple links here because I figure this link could change whenever you actually watch this lesson. But you can click right here on the Get Sample Pack and you can see what's inside, add to cart, go to checkout, and this one, so they'll send you an email. Everything is free, including delivery. That is amazing. So do that right now, guys, before we don't, well, maybe wait for the live to finish, but take the time to order a sample pack. It will make a huge difference in understanding the papers that are available and how to work with that. Let's see, here's another one, Vistaprint. So these are some business cards I made a while ago. Let me switch my screen back. Another business card that I made that's pretty thick. It's a cotton. It's a oh my gosh! All my words are gone, guys. I quit. I'm just kidding. Super thick cotton business card. Feels really good in your hand. Every time I give it to somebody, they're like, "Wow, that feels great," you know. So that was from Vistaprint. So Vistaprint.com. I moved my microphone hoping that you wouldn't hear my computer take off. So what's going on here, I got a camera that shoots in 4K and it's coming into my laptop and compressing down and I think uploading in 720p for these lectures, but my computer is working way hard to do that and to do the live cast and to do all of this stuff I'm asking to do. So I got to figure this out, but I apologize. Do you hear that? It's obnoxious. It's driving me nuts. Anyway, back to Vistaprint. So let's Google that. Vistaprint samples. Here we go. Samples request. All right. So I'm going to click on that. And you can request your kit. Get my free sample kit. I'll click on that. Give me your email. Create an account. Say you're not a robot and get your free sample kit. So there is that. And then last is Sticker Mule. So I would check out their entire site. They've got a lot of really cool stuff on stickermule.com. And let's do the same thing. So we say Sticker Mule Sample Kit. There we go. So stickermule.com/samples. So if I go to that link, I can add a sample pack for just $1, add to cart, or I can get different custom samples depending on if you have any specific things you want to see. So I hope that's helpful. Definitely take the time to get yourself a sample kit, get one of everything. Where this comes in really handy, and I've done this a lot of times, is when I'm meeting with a client, I try and, again, back to that low, medium, high. Do you need a Vespa? Do you need a Chevy? Do you need a Cadillac? What kind of printing do you need? Do you need like the cheapest printing possible, or does this thing need to feel like $1 million, right? So as you're talking with a client, they can see this and go, oh, okay, this is actually probably good enough for my needs. This is perfect. And then some of these print samples will even have pricing attached to them. So you can show them, hey, this will cost you X amount to print 1,000 pieces. Or you could say, hey, you know what, I'm not sure what the cost is, but I will get a couple quotes for you pulled together. Do you know which one you like? And they can say, hey, I really like this one, but if it's too expensive, we can go ahead and do this one. And so what I would do is I'd say, okay, great. Well, I'll get you pricing for 500, 1,000, and 1,500 or whatever, you know, ballpark. Usually they're kind of in the breakdown of about that as far as how many pieces. So that's how I would approach that. I say, hey guys, you know, let me get back to you now that I know what you want to do. We know your size and your paper, what you like. I'll reach out to the printers and I'll get some quotes for you and I'll get back to you on that. So that's how I handle that in my meetings with clients, and it actually goes really, really well to have something for them to feel in their hand, and that way you're, again, communication being everything, you're on the exact same page. Their expectations and your expectations are, you know, very physically, tangibly met because you both have something in hand to talk about, so you know exactly what you're talking about. So anyway, that's been a huge help for me, and that's one thing that I go to when I get stuck. To get ideas and to get unstuck is just kind of play with papers and see if there's any ideas. And then let me, so as far as that question that Revar asked in the question tonight, how to get ideas when you get stuck. So if you jump over to, let's see, episode 18, I talk a little bit more in depth about how I get some inspiration, things that I do, and how I go to trade shows and get all kinds of magazines and catalogs and just use those as well for things to get inspired by. I also have, you can see a few of the books behind me, but I have shelves and shelves of books. I love books. I get tons and tons of books to go through and flip through that. I also use sites like behance.net and a ton of others. Just kind of trolling those. Pinterest has turned into a good site. There's a lot of great graphic design resources on Pinterest you can check out. Now, if you're truly if you're stuck though, yeah, whatever, Derek, I've got the samples, I've got the books, and I'm just flat out stuck. How do I get unstuck? Well, I think for me, what happens is when you try and force something and your mind is using up all of its power to think about something, it's kind of like this laptop right now. It's using all of its power to keep this live going. And so when it's so focused on that one task, it has a hard time doing anything else. Same thing with our brains, right? We can get so focused on a task that it's almost like a computer's hard drive filling up, right? And you just kind of run out of space to think. So what I found for me, one of the best things that I can do is to stand up, go for a walk, go work out, go play ultimate frisbee, or go golfing, or go hiking, or snowboarding, or just get out of the office and go do something. Take my kids out, go for a run. Anything that lets your brain free up that doesn't take any thought power. Maybe do the dishes. Maybe go mow the lawn. Maybe do something, sweep the floor. Anything that's somewhat physical but doesn't require any brain power. And your brain in the back of your mind, the subconscious brain will kind of go to work on these problems that you still have. But for me, that's been a huge I don't know if it's a tool or asset or whatever. It's just what I do, right? I'll stand up, I'll walk around, I'll move around, I'll change my scenery. Maybe I'll pack up the laptop and head to Starbucks and sit there, or go to a bookstore and sit there and just kind of change and get out of my element. Maybe I'll go people watch. I'll just go to the mall and just kind of sit on a bench, which I know sounds kind of creepy and weird, but sometimes you'll see something. You'll see somebody wearing something, or you'll see them carrying a shopping bag that has a cool idea on it that you like. Ideas can be anywhere. And like we mentioned previously, ideas are gold. So if you don't have ideas, like you've experienced, when you don't have an idea, you're stuck. So I actually have, oh, hang on. Oops. So I have a ton of these notebooks. I love these. This is kind of a moleskin style. Some of these are really, really nice. Leather-bound notebooks, and let me see here. So, I love these things. I've got them filled with notes and ideas, and you can't really see, but the point is, if I get stuck, I have a spot to go to, or if I forget something. So this notebook is what I use when I'm trying to plan courses. This is very, very new, but basically when I get outlines for courses, I usually try and start in here, trying to flesh them out. So that way I've got something tangible to go to. I love writing. I love the tactile feeling of writing. So that helps me stay unstuck as much as possible. So that's what I do, guys. That's how I stay unstuck and take notes and journal and all that kind of fun stuff. What else was I going to say? Let me just look at this real quick. Okay, so we did the print samples. I showed you some websites. Okay, so color theory. So in yesterday's live, episode 20, I think it was 20, I was talking about how on logos I usually present with either a black and white logo, or first I do everything in black and white so we can look at the shape, and then we get into color and we talk about the color of the logo and the theme and the flavor of it, essentially, like what colors are we using for this thing. And this was the book that I was trying to find on my shelf. It was downstairs. So it's called Color, Messages and Meanings by Beatrice, I don't know, Eisman. Anyway, great book. Awesome book. It goes through a lot of the main colors, like I mentioned, red, black, orange, yellow, purple, blue, brown, and just kind of gives you some of the background about it. Talks about neutrals in general. It talks about different themes like nightlife and complexity and provocative, and just lots of really, really great stuff. So if you're somebody like me who struggles with color sometimes, this is a really good resource. So that's all I've got for you guys tonight. I'm going to check the feed real quick before I shut this down. If you have any questions, let me know. Graphic Design USA. Hey, Dustin, actually, I was featured in Graphic Design USA way back in the day. Some of the logos I did was actually in that magazine. I'm kicking myself for not having saved one of them. But yeah, that's actually a good resource too, and it's free. All right. What's up, Dustin? He says, good evening. Good evening. For photographers, check out WHCC. They give samples of 4 free prints at 8x10. WHCC. Dustin, what's that stand for, dude? Can you post in the comments below? Cool. Anyway, guys, I know tonight was short and sweet. Thanks for tuning in. Super excited, and not to dangle the carrot, but I've got that podcast coming up with a special guest this week that will broadcast live on the feed. Really excited about that. Like I said, still ironing out the details of exactly when our schedules are going to line up. But as soon as I know that, I'll post it in the group so you guys can make sure to join live if you can. Actually, it'd be good is if you get a chance, if you guys can comment below, even if you watch the replay on this video, even if it's tomorrow or whatever. Comment below when a good time for you guys. I know a lot of people, when I had that survey, most of you were like after 6 p.m. Eastern time was like a really good time for most people. But if you could just comment again in the next week, kind of what everybody's availability is, when a good time to go live would be, that would be awesome. I'll do my best, but again, trying to get all of the stars to align for us to be in the same room together. So, Dustin on the WHCC, he says it's White House custom color. So awesome. Thanks for sharing that resource. Guys, have an awesome night. Thanks for tuning in. And if you're watching the replay, don't forget you can still comment. I go back through and I check the comments after the fact. So feel free to ask questions or comment on the feed. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. Really been enjoying these lives, and it's kind of bittersweet. I can kind of feel it tapering off to this 30-day challenge ending. So I might have to push it further. So anyway, you can follow me at D Mitchell Design on Instagram, and I've got that new YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the little bell and you can get notified anytime I post new videos. Thanks for watching, guys. Have an awesome night, and I will see you tomorrow.